Let's now get you the inside details of what's been happening in Chennai. Now, as soon as caretaker Chief Minister O. Paneerselvam rebelled, Chinnamma, the Chief Minister in waiting, acted. She packed almost 130 MLAs, AIA-DMK MLAs into 3 buses and sent them to a lavish resort near Kanchipuram to prevent any defection or crossover to the Paneerselvam camp. A move that's been labelled as illegal confinement by the O. Paneerselvam camp. The poetically named Golden Bay Resort is now almost like a golden cage. Top sources have confirmed to India Today that these MLAs do not have access to the outside world, whether it's through phones or internet or even access to newspapers. Sasikala's camp is keeping a sharp eye on all MLAs, including who they speak to and what they talk. Of course, some of the MLAs, we are told, have objected to the surveillance. DSP of Mamlapuram and the Kovathur inspector, now they've inspected this Golden Bay Resort. They've now filed their report.
All 130 MLAs are together. We are united. The forces which are trying to destroy the party will fail. There was news that our phones were switched off. Media has been giving wrong information about us.
Now, journalists weren't permitted to come anywhere close to this Golden Bay Resort. Security kept them away. India Today team managed to reach out to the MLAs, but there were AIA-DMK men loyal to the Sasikala camp who prevented journalists from getting any closer. Let's tell you what happened when we reached there.
Excuse me. Please. Excuse me. Hello. One second.
Don't touch camera person, sir. Tell me.
Why are you doing this?
We have all the rights, sir. We are national media. We have rights.
Excuse me, brother. One nimsham wait pannunga. Why are you doing this? Okay. So we are not harassing. Okay.
No, we are not. We are also
not harassing.
We are also not doing anything.
Why are you doing this? Actually, we are private people. This is a private.
हम भी कुछ नहीं कर रहे भाई. सुनो मेरी बात. हम बंदे हो. The point is, हमारे कल से ना यहाँ क्या कर रहे हैं हमारे यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हैं बोल के पूछ रहे.
We know our.
So you don't have rights. Don't do this. Actually, wait.
No. I'm speaking, sir. Yeah, tell me, sir.
See, nothing is happening here.
Yes, I know, sir.
This is a private property.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
We are all came here for some. To say some
your meeting, personal meeting.
So
fine,
please don't do this. Please. Nothing is here. Nothing is here. No one is here actually. We are all private people. Yes. Okay.
And India Today's editor Shivarur now joins us for more on the story. He's outside the Poise Garden in Chennai. Shiv, take us through the developments over the past several hours. Are the 100+ MLAs still at that resort? Still don't they have access to the outside world or their mobile phones? What's the latest? What's happening in both the camps?
Well, Gaurav, it appears to be pretty selective. They're all still at the Golden Bay Resort near Kanchipuram, and it appears they only have access to the outside world, on a periodical basis. Whenever the media scrutiny gets too hot, a couple of them are paraded out or phone calls are facilitated to give the impression that they aren't being kept there against their free will. All indications suggest, especially from the investigative reporting that India Today has been doing, both from the sea route and from the road route, that they are being kept there against their will. Nothing suggests that they are free agents at this point of time, but they're all together there at that particular Golden Bay Resort. We also know that, their their presence there at that resort, Gaurav, is one of the main reasons why this entire political situation in Tamil Nadu has been delayed and has created a huge complication in a swift decision by Governor Vidyasagar Rao. One spotlight on that particular resort with all of those MLAs in that area, appears to suggest that the governor cannot take a decision on whether those MLAs are free agents, in the event that he is compelled to call a floor test. So the report that's been filed by the DSP in Kovattur and Mamalapuram, we don't know what the contents of that report are just yet, beyond it saying that all of those MLAs are present in that particular resort. But it will be very important and it will influence what happens going forward. So
absolutely.
That's one of the reasons why we've got 3 reporters, more than anybody else, with our eyes fixed on that resort.
Oh, absolutely. And if these MLAs are there against their will, or are they there on their own? There's breaking news coming in. Shiv, stay with me. And joining us now is Akshita Nandgopal for more on the story. She's at O Paneerselvam's residence. And Akshita, so there is a trickle. It hasn't opened the floodgates. The delay hasn't opened a floodgates that O Paneerselvam had hoped it would. 2 MPs. But what about MLAs? And what about the current situation as far as the state assembly goes? 130 or 35 of these AIADMK MLAs, how many can O Paneerselvam claim are on his side?
As far as the MLAs goes, Gaurav, the situation is pretty much the same. We do not know of any new MLAs who have come forward to pledge their support to the O Paneerselvam camp. But this is, at the end of the day, a crucial development. There are 2 MPs, one from Namakkal, Mr. P.R. Sundaram, and the other from Krishnagiri, which is Ashok Kumar. Both of them have come out to show their support for O Paneerselvam. It's not just that. Sundaram, while speaking to the media earlier, also said that all the MPs with the AIADMK, except for Thambidurai, are now on OPS's side. Now, while that is a claim that will have to be verified and will have to be proved by Paneerselvam, if that is the case, we could see quite a few MLAs also shifting sides. What we have to keep in mind, Gaurav, is that there are an odd 90 MLAs who are currently cooped up in a resort at Mahabalipuram, at Kanchipuram. So we have to, of course, wait and see if once they are allowed to communicate, if they will defect to the O Paneerselvam camp. At the end of the day, this development means that Sasikala's camp is getting weaker. It's taking a huge hit. The fact that not just top party members but also MPs have come out to pledge their support for O Paneerselvam. But as you rightly said, it comes down to the MLAs at the end of the day, whether he can get the number of MLAs that he needs. Yesterday, we saw a former Union Minister, Punaswamy, who had also come out to support Paneerselvam, claiming that they had 35 MLAs on their side. And besides that, Paneerselvam, of course, was surrounded only by the same 5 MLAs who have been with him from day one. So will they be able to give any proof of the numbers that they have? We've seen Paneerselvam saying 50, we're seeing Punaswamy saying 35, but on the ground, it's still 5 MLAs, a lot of MPs, party members, former MLAs, all of them also pledging their support.
Okay. So that seesaw battle, Shiv, that continues, a trickle so far, not the floodgates that O Paneerselvam hoped this delay, every day's delay may cause.
You're absolutely right, Gaurav, and I wanted to make 2 points. Even though at this point of time we don't know what the MLAs inside that resort are actually thinking, there are 2 major factors that could influence their decision. 2 major factors over the last couple of days. One, what Akshita was just mentioning, the fact that senior leaders, including P.R. Sundaram and Ashok Kumar, 2 fresh MPs who've, decided to throw in their lot with Mr. Paneerselvam. But the other fact is these MLAs, apart from looking at many of these senior leaders and cadres and public support going towards the OPS camp, that could influence their decision because they may see it as a wind blowing in the OPS direction. But the other, perhaps more important, influencing decision or compelling factor, Gaurav, would be the, information that emerged in the media yesterday that revealed for the first time what the thought process from the governor may actually be. The information was, that the governor was said to have been, unwilling, at least at this time, to swear in Sasikala because of the peculiar political situation, the unprecedented factors, including the MLAs who were being held at that resort, also the disproportionate assets case, and, several other situational elements that make this such a sort of confounding political crisis in Tamil Nadu. So looking at both these things, the fact that seniors in the party are jumping ship. Yesterday there was Madhusudanan, now there are other MPs who are jumping ship and joining, even though the MLAs aren't. Seeing all this, if the MLAs are allowed access to the outside world, to the media, and to what's going on really, and not being kept isolated from what's going on, then perhaps that might influence their decision, and that explains why they're being held at that resort, Gaurav.
And Shiv, especially the point that you and Akshita and all our team, you've been speaking to a cross-section of AIA-DMK supporters and voters. When you speak of this winds of change, they seem to be blowing in favor of Paneerselvam, and when these MLAs realize what their voters want, perhaps there may be a change of heart, Shiv.
There may be a change of heart, but, there is no second-guessing the Sasikala camp, Gaurav. Right now, as we've been reporting all of this week, the peculiarity of this situation means that all bets are off. Remember, the strength of the AIA-DMK in terms of the MLAs and the general administrative strength of the party is still very much in favor of Sasikala. You've got a handful of MLAs, you've got MPs, some ex-ministers and MPs, joining ship with OPS. The public sentiment appears to be in his favor. There's a lot of cadre appeal that, O Paneerselvam actually has for the service to Jayalalitha, etc., etc. But remember that the muscle of the AIA-DMK is very much, at the hands of Sasikala at this point of time. And it is for her to wield. So in that sense, we've seen, here outside Vedanalayam, we've seen a steady stream of senior leaders continuing to come in to meet Sasikala. She hasn't emerged, Gaurav, since Thursday night after that crucial meeting she had with the governor. So the winds of change may be blowing, intangibly in the OPS direction. But like Akshita was saying, until those numbers actually fall into place, he can't rest. He's up against a very, very formidable foe in Sasikala, who knows everything about the party and everything about what it takes to actually get her way.
Absolutely. And Akshita and Shiv track that story. And Akshita, before we let you go, just a small question. Does he still control the purse strings of the AIA-DMK? He was removed as treasurer, but who controls the purse strings?
There's a lot of confusion on that front really, Gaurav, because we've been seeing both camps claiming stake literally to the party. On one hand, you have Sasikala Natarajan taking a lot of action against people like Madhusudanan, against Paneerselvam, all of them who are, of course, against her. As the General Secretary, she's taken these steps. But what we have to keep in mind is that the OPS camp maintains that Sasikala Natarajan is not the General Secretary, that they cannot be an interim General Secretary for the party. So there is a lot of bickering on that front. And Paneerselvam maintains that he cannot be expelled from the party because Sasikala Natarajan's appointment is null and void. Hence, he remains the treasurer. What we have to keep in mind is that, yes, he's written to the Chief Manager of the Bank of India, but there's been no development per se on that front. There's been no action that's been taken. AIA-DMK, whether it's Sasikala's camp or OPS's camp, still has access to the party funds.
Okay, both of you keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. For the moment, many thanks. As this political deadlock continues in Tamil Nadu, India today has accessed the draft of Governor Vidyasagar Rao's note. Now, the governor apparently wants Paneerselvam, and that's his thinking, that he wants Paneerselvam to continue as the caretaker chief minister, at least for now. Vidyasagar Rao, the governor, wants to wait for the Supreme Court verdict in the disproportionate assets case against Sasikala before inviting her to form the government. Now, O Paneerselvam camp is confident that the governor is likely to send the same report, the same favourable report to the centre. Vidyasagar Rao, of course, hasn't formally sent his report just as yet on the latest developments in Tamil Nadu to either the Ministry of Home Affairs and then subsequently to the President of India.
Governor எடுக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு முடிவு 7 கோடி தமிழர்களுடைய வருங்காலத்தை உறுதிப்படுத்தக்கூடிய ஒரு முடிவாக அமைய இருக்கின்றது. எடுத்தேன் கவிழ்த்தேன் என்று செய்யக்கூடிய செயல்கள் காங்கிரசினுடைய ஆட்சி காலத்திலே அந்த காலத்தினுடைய கவர்னர்கள் செய்திருக்க முடியும். ஆனால் பிரதமர் நரேந்திர மோடியினுடைய அரசாங்கத்தில் இருக்கக்கூடிய இந்த காலத்தில் இருக்கக்கூடிய கவர்னர்கள், இந்த ஆட்சி காலத்தில் இருக்கக்கூடிய கவர்னர்கள் மிகவும் கவனமாக செயல்பட வேண்டும் என்பது மக்களுடைய விருப்பமாக இருந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றது.
And India Today's Revati Rajivan tells us the latest on this situation now. Revati, what's the governor expected to do? He was consulting a lot of constitutional experts till very late, we are told.
Well, yes, Gaurav, Governor has been consulting several legal experts on this matter, as we have been reporting. But the delay definitely gives a picture to both the factions as to where the Governor is headed. We did report on the thoughts of the Governor as well, along what lines that is going as well. Yet there is no report that is sent to the centre, or no decision has been taken as yet. But perhaps he is waiting for the verdict in the DA case as well to be announced, which could come sometime next week. So that delay is definitely expected. But what is happening is, with this delay that is there in the technicalities, in submitting the report, etc., the factions, the OPS camp and the Sasikala camp are themselves interpreting the delay. Most of them saying that the delay is because the governor does not want Sasikala to swear in. Because if he wanted Sasikala to swear in, he could have done that much earlier. Because like legal experts have been pointing out, there is no constitutional or legal hurdles for the governor in doing so. But if he is not doing so, in spite of not having a legal or constitutional hurdle in swearing in Sasikala, and in spite of that, if he is not swearing in, people, including the OPS and Sasikala camps, are interpreting the delay as that against Sasikala, which is perhaps the reason for some of them even changing their minds and moving on to OPS camps as well.
Keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. Revati Rajivan, for the moment, many thanks.